Hey, I am live now on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in if you're here already. I'm doing something called Keynote Concerts. So a keynote concert is a keynote presentation where music is involved. So this is a new thing that I started doing about a year ago. I had my first keynote concert here in the Milwaukee area in Tosa. So there were some friends that were able to make it out to that event. If you are here in my live stream, I would love it if you would just say hi and let me know how you're doing today. If you are from Milwaukee or from somewhere else, I had my first public keynote concert last October, and it was here in Milwaukee. So it was a physical live event, and I am doing this one today for YouTube. And I did make a post about it on Facebook, so there might be some people who are also from Facebook, but hopefully you are having a great morning. Without any further ado, I am going to get started. So my topic is called More Engaged. How to empower the people around you for more elevated interactions and relationships. And so I'm going to talk about how you are able to improve your relationships by having positive interactions, empowering interactions. And there's kind of three sort of tiers that I'm going to get into, and I will describe those to you as we go. But let me start out today by telling a little story. So back in 1999, my band broke up. I had been living up in Seattle, and I moved down to Los Angeles to start a new band and start pursuing my music career in the LA area. And I started working with a guy named Ken. And so Ken and I would grab coffee from Starbucks often when we would get together and start working on the music. And one day something interesting happened as we were driving through. We were going through the drive-through, and Ken stopped and asked the guy at the drive-through, "Hey, how you doing today? I hope you're having a great day." And the guy at the drive-through kind of looked surprised. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?" And I kind of look at the guy at the drive-through kind of like, "Yeah, I'm doing great. I really want some coffee." I didn't say that, of course, but that's kind of what I was thinking. And this conversation went on for a minute to maybe three at the most. And Eugene is in the house. How's it going, Eugene? Good to see you. Woohoo! Here we are. All right. So this thing that happened at the Starbucks drive-thru was very interesting to me because I thought, well, geez, how wonderful that Ken would take the time and the energy to extend a little kindness and well wishes, have a great day, to this guy at the drive-thru who was a complete and perfect stranger. And I thought that was really, really cool. I thought, wow, that'd be really cool if everyone was like that all the time. It would certainly make the world a better place. And so that day and how that went down stuck with me for years and years and years. And I always thought, man, that's so cool. I want to be like that. Years later, the same thing happened. I happened to just kind of engage in that, having experienced it as a witness. And so one day I was going to get gas. My card didn't work at the pump, so I had to walk into the gas station and pay for my gas. And as I was walking in, there was a girl walking out, and we made eye contact. So out of the blue, really, I said, "Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a great day." Really, it was kind of out of the blue. I was just in a good mood. It just kind of came out. And she stopped and she said, "Oh, well, thanks." same to you. Have a great day. So that was the end of the interaction. I went in to pay for my gas. She went back out to her car. And then when I came out of the gas station and back to my car, she came up to me and she said, "Hey, I just want to say thank you for saying hello to me and for wishing me a great day." And I said, "Oh, you're welcome." And she said, "To tell you the truth, before that happened, I really wasn't having such a great day, but you just changed that for me." And I thought to myself, really? I have the power to change the whole trajectory of your day just by giving you a smile and saying hello and, wishing you a great day? And she said, yes. And I said, wow, thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful. And we went our separate ways. And I realized how something so small can have such a massive impact. Give me a second here. I'm going to turn the air off. I don't know if that was in the background. My air was on. Sorry about that. So then years later, I started studying kindness and empowerment. I built a teaching business. I teach, as you know, I teach guitar and voice and piano. And I built a teaching business, and I started observing things happening in the lessons when I was giving encouragement and positive reinforcement to my students during the lessons. And this whole thing about kindness and empowerment really was very interesting to me. So I started studying kindness and caring, and I learned some very interesting things. I learned that there are massive health benefits to caring and kindness. I'm just going to share a few of them with you right now. One of them is when you are kind to another person, your immune system gets a boost. There is a substance in your body called secretory immunoglobulin A, which is connected to your immune system. It's a substance that can boost your immune system, and that substance increases when you are engaging in an act of kindness. It's a physical thing that actually happens that is connected to all of the things in your body that are related to acts of kindness. Your immune system actually gets a boost. Another thing that happens is you get benefits to your cardiac system. The cortisol levels in your body are lowered, as well as your blood pressure. And cortisol, as you know, is the stress hormone. So the stress in your body goes down, as well as your blood pressure. So here's an interesting way to think about a little experiment that you could do. The next time you're really stressed out, I want you to just stop for a moment and think of something that you can do that would be kind to another person. You might have to go to a different room. You might have to leave and go outside and go to the drugstore or the gas station or the grocery store and just be kind to someone and say hello, have a nice day. But give it a try. Go find someone that you can just engage in an act of kindness with when you are stressed out, and see if that improves your stress level so that your stress goes down. There are other things that happen when you engage in kindness. There is a boost in this thing called endorphins. Endorphins are the body's natural painkillers. So I don't know if you've actually heard about this thing called the runner's high. People who are running at a certain point in their run, I don't know how long it takes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but suddenly this runner's high kicks in, and that's actually the endorphins in their body kicking in and getting rid of any pain that might be happening at the moment, any sort of joint pain or other pain that might be happening due to a rigorous run that they're engaged in. So when you engage in kindness, your endorphins go up. Isn't that wonderful? So the pain in your body, in theory, could go down. You have a boost in self-esteem. You have a boost in your mood and empathy and compassion. And compassion and kindness kind of go together, because compassion often is a feeling that comes first before you engage in the act of kindness. And compassion is actually related to your vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is responsible for your inflammatory reflex. So the inflammation in your body will come down due to compassion that is happening. Whatever kind of stuff is happening in the brain, it is connected to your vagus nerve, which makes inflammation in your body go down. The beautiful thing about kindness is that the benefits are not just experienced by the person engaging in kindness, like I'm describing. Of course, the person receiving the kindness is going to receive the benefits of kindness, as well as people who are witnessing the act of kindness, people who are onlookers, people who are seeing this kind of act happening. It actually has pervasive effects. It is not just between the person engaging in the kindness and the person receiving it. Onlookers who are watching this act of kindness. That's why so many of the YouTube videos where, somebody's rescuing an animal or some act of kindness is happening, those are really popular videos on YouTube because of the benefits that you receive just by watching that act of kindness. And so what is happening here, as well as the immune system and the cardiac benefits, there's also some other hormones and neurotransmitters that get a boost. And one of those is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a substance in the body that is related to feelings of trust and love. So your feelings of trust and love are going to increase. Your serotonin goes up. The serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is related to bodily functions like sleep and digestion, mood. It also, you will experience your anxiety levels going down when your serotonin goes up, and your feelings of depression will go down when your serotonin goes up. All that stuff is wonderful, but I think one of the most interesting things about acts of kindness is the dopamine level. So when your dopamine level increases, that's not only the feel-good hormone. So it is connected to the reward centers in your brain. It's also connected to learning. Dopamine is connected to thinking and memory. When your dopamine levels go up, you become more interested and curious about things. No wonder your learning increases. Your interest in figuring things out increases. Your motivation to try and work hard and try and figure things out goes up. And so it's no wonder during lessons, when I am giving positive reinforcement to my students, I'm like, hey, great job. Woo! You hit that high note. Good job. They are reporting to me. I've had interviews with my students about the positive reinforcement during lessons. And they are reporting to me that when they get that positive reinforcement, they are actually more motivated to try harder. They're more fearless. They're more resilient if there's a note that they didn't quite hit. They're willing to try again. So and this is related to the dopamine because of the motivation factor that goes up when your dopamine goes up as a result of getting the kindness, the positive reinforcement. So it's so interesting that this is happening when positive reinforcement is happening. So interesting that people are still resorting to things like punishment when it comes to interactions with their kids, people at work. If you're a leader or a boss at work, punishment is still something that is happening all the time, and it's not nearly as effective as positive reinforcement when it comes to trying to get that other person to do something that you would like to see them do, whether it's to do their homework or to clean their room or to eat their vegetables. Positive reinforcement is something that is going to work a lot better than punishment. Punishment is very easy. People who engage in punishment don't have to really think about it. They don't have to think about, oh, what is something that I can say that's going to be received positively by this other person in a genuine way. One of the things we got to be careful about is when we are engaging in positive reinforcement and positive feedback to others, it has to be genuine. And so the relationship with your, you know, person that we're dealing with here, the relationship with your kids, the relationship with your family members, the relationships with your friends and people at work have to already be relationships that are healthy and caring. And so if we first need to work on the health of that relationship, that is obviously a first step, making sure that the people in your life know that you really do care about them and that you really are wanting to boost their self-esteem and you're wanting to give them love and you're wanting to give them the caring and the kindness that healthy relationships are made of. And so in order to have caring and kindness for others, this is one of the things that is super important piece of the puzzle here. First, you have to have caring and kindness for yourself. You have to first love yourself before you can truly love another person. It's kind of like in the airplane when they are explaining about the air masks that could come down if there's turbulence or something like that, air pressure. In order to make this effective, first you got to put your air mask on first. Put your mask on first before you help the person next to you. Because you're not going to be able to truly care about another person, truly love another person, unless if you really love yourself first. And that means that you are healthy when it comes to your mental health. You're healthy when it comes to your physical health. You're healthy when it comes to your psychological health. You're healthy when it comes to how you feel about yourself. Your own self-esteem is intact. You feel good about yourself as a person. If this is an area where you might need to work on first, that I would work on first. This is something that is super important in order for you to have healthy relationships. First, you want to make sure that your relationship with yourself is really healthy. And I know that sounds kind of, everybody's talking about self-love and self-care these days, but it really is that important. Because in order for us to elevate our lives and to elevate our relationships, first we have to elevate our lives and our relationships with ourselves. And so whatever you need to do to start making sure that your self-esteem is where it needs to be, making sure that you are feeling good about yourself. Maybe you need to start journaling. Maybe you need to start just taking better care of yourself when it comes to, you know, a little bit of free time and being good to yourself and not always, you know, putting yourself down. Oh, I didn't get this done. I didn't get that done. Really, you know, start rewarding yourself for the good things that you accomplish. Start rewarding yourself even for the tiny little wins. So this is a hugely important piece of the puzzle because it kind of, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, or that I will be talking about today, is for leaders in the work environment. And so this caring and kindness empowerment is something I can talk to when it comes to all of our relationships. But when we think about why people are quitting their jobs, there's still massively high amounts of people who are quitting for reasons such as the toxic work environment. I just don't like my boss. My boss is not a kind person. My boss doesn't care about me. They don't care about me at my workplace. 57% of people are quitting their jobs for these reasons. That's massively huge. So it's something to think about if you are a leader at your place of work. How would you describe your level of caring and kindness that you believe the people that you lead at work feel that you have for them? Is this something that you need to work on a little bit? How about your relationships with your family members. Maybe you need to reach out to your family members a little bit more and say, hey, you know what? Just thinking about you today. I wanted to let you know I love you. Your friends. Let's really start focusing on paying attention to those relationships a little bit more so that we can just make the world a better place. Your own self-esteem and your own health is going to have a boost when you know that your relationships are healthy too. So caring and kindness and positive reinforcement and encouraging and kind words. So that is sort of like phase one of this whole sort of empowerment little sort of framework that I wanted to share with you today. So phase one is caring and kindness, making sure that you are giving positive reinforcement to the people in your life so that they know that you do care about them. Make sure that it's genuine. You might need to just start small, building more trust with your relationships first. And then once the relationship is in a place where, okay, I really feel like, our relationship is, they know that I genuinely care about them. Like if you're a leader at work and you don't really make it a habit to ask the people that you lead at work, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Do you have any plans? Or on Monday, oh, how was your weekend? If you don't normally ask that question, don't just start asking everybody that question out of the blue. Obviously, you want to just take little baby steps with every single person, one person at a time. Look for an opportunity to reach out and let them know that you care in just very small ways so that this can kind of grow and build into a trusting relationship where the kind words and the reinforcement are felt as being genuine and heartfelt. So we've got caring and kindness and using that instead of punishment. Then sort of there's this, that kind of goes into the level 2, where we are looking for the positive behaviors that we can reinforce and reward and say, hey, good job. Hey, I really appreciate you doing this. And then there's another piece of the puzzle where instead of using punishment, if there's a behavior that you want to decrease, we can start looking at some limiting beliefs that they might have. Now, I have had my fair share of limiting beliefs. I'm going to tell you a little story about how when I was 7 years old, I was in my living room and my dream when I was 7 years old was to be a movie star. And so I told my dad, I said, Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a movie star. And what my dad said to me had a pretty significant impact on my life. What he said to me was, oh boy, that's a tough business. And little did I know that those 6 little words would shut me down for the next 45 years of my life when it came to pursuing a career in the entertainment business. And I didn't realize this until literally 2021. So like 3 years ago. I was at an artist retreat. It was a mastermind retreat for artists. And our job, one of the homework assignments that we had, or one of the things that we were doing for a mastermind activity, was to come up with our story as an artist so that we could share our story with our fans and sort of build relationships based on, our sharing stuff about ourselves and, asking them to share about themselves too. And we can do this with, social media, live streams, and emails and stuff like that, building the relationships with our fans based on our own story. And so the framework that we were to use was something called the hero's journey. And there's this journey that it's a hero's journey framework. It's used in many really famous adventure movies like Star Wars and The Hobbit, Harry Potter, all the adventure movies. They kind of use the same framework. And it starts out with a call to adventure. And the protagonist, the hero, kind of says, no, I'm not going to do this call to adventure, kind of doesn't really want to go there. And then something happens where they are compelled to take this call to adventure. And then they enter this sort of new world. They have the ordinary world that they live in, and then they enter this new world when they do the call to adventure. And some things happen, and they get a mentor. And then during the sort of the bottom of the circle here, it's kind of a circle, that journey that they go on, is called the abyss. And I'm thinking about myself being in this abyss for like 28 years. I was like, oh, I started playing music in 1993. It's now 2021. I still feel like I'm struggling. I've been in this abyss for like 28 years. I don't think the hero in the hero's journey is supposed to be in the abyss for 28 years. I was kind of thinking that was kind of a little bit too long of a time to be stuck in the abyss. And so I really started digging deep. I thought, man, what's going on here with this abyss? Why am I stuck in this abyss for so long? Like, what could it be? What's going on in my psyche? Do I have like something going on deep down inside? And I really did dig deep. And that's when it hit me that when my dad said that to me when I was 7 years old, that it literally shut me down. And it shut me down for 28 years. Everything that I did during my career, I had this like program running in the background, so that anything that I did would have this negative energy attached to it. Like, oh, you might get this airplay on these college stations. You might get this airplay on these commercial radio stations, but it's probably really not going to amount to anything at the end of the day, because after all, the business, the entertainment business is such a tough business. Everything that I did, oh, you might have these great gigs at the Whiskey A Go-Go and the Troubadour and the Viper Room in Los Angeles, but it's probably really not going to really amount to much, at the end of the day, because after all, it's a really tough business. And so when I realized I had this massively debilitating belief, I don't call it a limiting belief, I call it a debilitating belief. When I realized I had this debilitating belief, that is when I really started digging deep and trying to figure out how can I get rid of it. And that's when I started studying empowerment. I started studying neuro linguistic programming. And that's when I learned about how we have these programs that are running in our unconscious mind. And those programs are actually running the show. We are largely unaware of it until we really start digging deep and start thinking about these things. And you can meditate, and sometimes meditation is going to allow you to discover some of these limiting beliefs that are happening. And so limiting beliefs are one of the biggest hurdles that we need to learn to jump over. And so if you are dealing with somebody in your life, a kid, one of your kids, a family member, somebody at work, and there are some behaviors that aren't working, maybe they're not doing the job that they should be doing at work, or your kid is, doing some acting out behaviors. One of the things that we can take a look at is, okay, what kind of limiting beliefs do they have about themselves that is, could be responsible for this behavior that we want to change. It's very interesting because I started digging a little deeper with my students about their limiting beliefs. And I found out that my students have a lot of limiting beliefs. It happens actually when they are singing their songs. One of the exercises that I do with my students is we print out the lyrics for a song, and then they sing the song. And while they're singing the song, they need to be reading that lyric sheet and paying attention to their thoughts. And then when they're done singing the song, they go back and they write down, oh, during this part of the song, during these lyrics, I remember I was having this thought. I was like, uh-oh, here comes that high note. Uh-oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain this note, this really long note that I need to sustain. Oh, I don't know if this vibrato is going to come out the way that I want. And we've discovered that there's all these limiting beliefs and all these beliefs of insecurity. I don't know if I can hit this note. And the next step, after we've done that, after we've identified the limiting beliefs, is to take a new sheet with the same lyrics, and every spot where there was a limiting belief, we're going to replace it with an empowering belief, a positive thought. And so instead of, oh no, here comes that high note, I don't know if I'm going to hit it, it's, I know I got this high note, I'm going to nail it. And I know I'm going to take a big enough breath so that I can sustain this really long note. And so being able to get rid of these limiting beliefs by having the positive beliefs, it's something that takes practice, takes a lot of practice. Those negative beliefs can creep in because they're kind of programmed into our DNA. We are built as human beings to be able to protect ourselves. Every cell in our bodies has DNA programmed for self-preservation. So we're always looking out for danger. We're always making sure that, like back in the human evolution in the very early days, we had to look out if we were going to get attacked by a bear or a saber-toothed tiger. We had to always be on the lookout for danger. And so this always being on the lookout for danger, we still, of course, want to be on the lookout for danger when there could be danger in any situation. However, it's not like it used to be. Okay, we can sort of change the way that we run the programs in our cells so that we are looking more for positive. We're looking more for empowerment. We're looking more for, yes, I can, instead of, oh no. And so, like I said, this takes practice because our DNA is programmed to always be on the side of, self-preservation and making sure that we don't have any danger or any harm. And so the practice of focusing on, I can do this. I know I'm going to hit this note. I know that I'm going to make a sale when I pick up the phone and do this sales call right now. I know that I'm going to have a really positive interaction with this person that I am serving today at work. And so being able to make that your habit is something that will take some practice. And so you can make yourself some little notes. What I do is I have my students create an affirmation, things that they like about, the way they sing, things that they believe about in themselves and their abilities. And that affirmation is something that, I ask my students, read this every morning when you get up, read it at night before you go to bed, and then read it sometime in the middle of the day. And this is going to increase your self-esteem about your abilities. It's going to help you stay focused on positive thoughts. rather than those negative thoughts. Oh, I can't hit that note. And so being able to identify those negative beliefs in the first place is step one. So helping, let's say that you're a leader at work and you have somebody that is on your team and you want to, kind of help them increase their numbers or increase their performance at work. And so, go ahead and share your own limiting belief that you had. It doesn't even have to be on the same subject. It could be on something else where, you know what, this is a limiting belief that was really holding me back. Maybe there's a limiting belief that is holding you back. What do you think? Then you can have this conversation with this person. And so limiting beliefs are going to get in our way if we don't identify them and just smash them. I actually have a song that I want to share with you guys about my limiting beliefs. The song is called The Morning. And I guess I can see if I can get my guitar a little bit more in the camera here. So let's just make sure. So here's a little song that I wrote that actually is coming out on my new record next year. I have my new record, the 10th CD of my career, is coming out in 2025. And so just listen to the lyrics and you'll see kind of how this relates to getting rid of your limiting beliefs. Hey, come follow me, no matter where you're coming from. Oh, you gotta be lonely too. Yeah, those changing times, the wicked ones we answer to. Feels like I'm getting older. As they call it, defrag to refrag. Overwhelming glass can't break through. No sight goes past the ceiling crack. And the days, they creep up behind you. And the nights like fall on your shadow. And the afternoon is ever living gone. And you're left there in the morning. And you're left there in the morning. And it's a shame that nobody ever answers to. Calling of the heart and the truth. How my poor excuse became a never-ending challenge to those deepest fears of failing. Desert corner, defrag, attack. Broken ceiling where the sun comes through. Dated and weathered and now she wants a childhood back. And the days, they creep up behind you. And the nights like fall on your shadow. And the afternoon is ever living gone. shadow, and the afternoon is ever living gone. And you left there in the morning, yeah. The morning. So I finally broke through the glass ceiling in that song. So that is actually, I wrote that song in 2000. It just kind of came to me, I guess, as a gift. I didn't really understand the meaning of it, but the lyrics came out, and so that's what I wrote. And now I'm understanding like the big picture of that song and why that song came out. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot of comments in the chat. I don't know if you guys want to say hello, say anything that you are, any questions or any feedback for me. Feel free to just pop something in the chat, and I will make sure that if you have a question, I'll answer your question at the end of my keynote concert. So, positive reinforcement and obliterating limiting beliefs. That's kind of like phase 2. We've got the first phase, caring and kindness. Second phase is positive reinforcement and eliminating limiting beliefs that the people in your life might have. And so kind of digging deep and discovering what kind of limiting beliefs you might have as like a little homework thing that you could do first is I would suggest kind of digging deep and looking and seeing, maybe you already know that you have some limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. And so your job now is to replace that limiting belief with a positive, with an encouraging, empowering belief. And start saying that to yourself every day. Just like I have my students say their affirmation about their instrument 3 times a day, in the morning, at night, and sometime in the middle of the day. Start doing that for yourself, and you will find that it starts to kind of sink in. It takes time. None of this stuff happens overnight, but you gotta first start by doing the work. So then there is phase 3 of empowerment. And I'm going to share a little story with you about how I started getting serious about building my teaching business. As you know, I teach guitar and voice and piano. I was at an event as a artist who wanted to move my career forward. This event was hosted by a mentor who has a couple different mentoring programs. One mentoring program that he has is for artists who are working on moving their careers forward. Another mentoring program that he has is for guitar teachers to build and grow their teaching business. And so I attended this event one year, not knowing that there was going to be a bunch of guitar teachers at the event, but learning that after I spent a day or two at these events. And so one evening after the day's events, I was hanging out at the bar with a guy named Turk. His nickname is Turk. And so Turk says to me, "Hey, Annie, tell me about yourself. What do you do? What are you all about?" And so I said, "Okay, Turk, I am a singer-songwriter, and I play guitar, I sing, I write songs, and I play gigs for a living. That's how I make my living. It's not an incredibly, lucrative six-figure income, but I am making a living playing gigs and I'm happy. And Turk kind of looked at me and goes, interesting. Have you ever thought about teaching? And I thought, oh, geez, I don't know. I guess I have, but I don't think I'd be very good. I don't have any experience. I don't have a degree in music. I don't even know if I'd be a good teacher. And Turk said to me, he's like, Annie, for one thing, you have an outgoing personality. I think you would be a great teacher just with that alone. But you can sing. You could probably teach people how to sing. You can play guitar. I'm sure you can teach people how to play guitar. And you can sing and play at the same time. You can teach people how to sing and play at the same time. And you can teach people how to get gigs. He says, Annie, you have no idea the value that you bring into the room for anybody who is in the same room as you. And I thought to myself, really? I should think about teaching? He's like, yeah, I think you'd be great. And it really hit me like a ton of bricks, like, oh, I should think about teaching. And it was that conversation that was the catalyst for me to start building my teaching business, which I have a very successful teaching business now, years later. But without that conversation, that never would have happened. The confidence boost that Turk gave me was so overwhelming that it actually pushed me to take action. And so that is something that I call a Turk. I call doing that for another person, I call that a Turk. So when you say you're a leader at your company and you are dealing with all sorts of people that you lead at work, you may find some things in some people that work for you that are talents or extra little gifts that they were sort of unaware of. Maybe they are aware of those gifts, but they're kind of hiding them. They don't, some people are very shy about, kind of being able to share like who they are deep down inside. And so as a leader or as a person that could be having positive influence on, the people in your life, you could start looking for these things. Or just if you do happen to see something like that in somebody in your life, I want you to tell them, hey, I see this in you. You can do this. You're more powerful than you think. You have this gift that you're not sharing with the world. And it's a disservice to the world for you to not be sharing this gift. So think about that. If there's people in your life that you could have this conversation with, I call it a Turk because Turk did it to me. I have another really, really touching story about this topic. So I used to play a lot of farmers market gigs. And there was a farmers market gig that was a recurring gig every year. I would have, anywhere from 3 to 6 gigs at this farmers market on any given year. And I'd always come back the next year. And so one year I played a song called Hide. I'll be playing that song for you shortly. So I played a song at my farmers market gig called Hide. And a lady came up to me after I was done playing that song one day at the farmer's market. And she said, Annie, that song Hide, I really like that song. In fact, I bought your CD last year after you played that song Hide. And I listened to that song for, for the whole year. I was listening to your CD. It's a great CD. But at the time that I first heard you sing and play that song last year, I was kind of going through a rough time. I had a unhealthy relationship with my husband. So that wasn't going well. And I also had this massive desire to write my book. And I've been listening to your song, and it's been making me feel very empowered for the last year. And not too long ago, I had a long conversation with my husband, and I told him how I felt and that we needed to work on these things. And I stood up for myself and stopped hiding. And now we have a very healthy relationship. Now we talk about things like we never used to talk about them before. And also, Annie, I finished my book. And I thought, no, what? My little song had that kind of a positive impact on your life? I started crying. And usually when I tell that story, I do start crying. So I'm surprised. Just the last couple of times, I'm not crying anymore, but I imagine I'll start crying on and off as I tell that story. But I was like, wow, that's really, really powerful. I'm so glad that you shared that with me. Thank you so much for sharing that story with me. And God bless you. Thank you. I'm so glad that my song had that kind of an impact on you. And so the song is called Hide, and it's about that. It's about not hiding the things inside that you should be sharing with the world. Her true feelings about her relationship with her husband, right? The book, all the stories that she could share with the world in that book. She finished her book. You know what? I'm so mad at myself because I never asked her where I could get a copy of her book. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I'm going to play this song for you called Hide. And I hope that my talk today has been empowering for you so that you are feeling empowered to now empower the people in your life and have elevated interactions and relationships. All right, let me just check my tuning here real quick. And I will be checking the comments and seeing if there's any questions that I can answer. All righty. Here we go. You guys ready? You hate your faith. I know that's just not what you are. You're shamed. You blame. Curious that you sleep so well. You are trying to be someone that I know you can't be. You are trying to play somebody else's game. I must say, I think that you are brighter, stronger. I must say you've got an alter ego that you like to hide. Forgotten that I know you better. You're better than that. I got just one question for you, and that's why do you have to hide? Woo! What are you trying to hide? Why do you have to hide? Hi, Margot. How's it going? What are you trying to hide? You're loud, insane. I can tell you've been hurt real bad. You're mean, like me. But I got damn good reason to be. Nobody else understands it. I've been there. I know about those things. Fact is that we all got things that we feel we must hide. I must say, I think that you are brighter, stronger. like to hide. You've forgotten that I know you better than that. I've got just one question for you, and that's why do you have to hide? What are you trying to hide? Why do you have to hide? What are you trying to hide? You've cried, I've seen. Can't pretend no more with me. You shy away. Nobody else plays better than me. I have tried myself to be someone that I just couldn't be. Always know your secrets, your secrets say with me. I must say I think that you are brighter, stronger. I must say you've got an alter ego that you like to hide. You've forgotten that I know you better than that. I've got just one question for you, and that's why do you have to hide? I must say I think that you are brighter, stronger. I must say you've got an alter ego that you like to hide. You've forgotten that I know you better than that. I've got just one question for you, and that's why do you have to hide? What are you trying to hide? Why do you have to hide? What are you trying to hide? Why do you have to hide? Tell me what are you trying 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 to hide? Hide! Don't hide, actually, that's the message. So, excuse me. So I hope that you enjoyed my talk today about being more engaged, empowering the people around you for elevated interactions and relationships. And this stuff you can use with everybody in your life. Use it with your spouse, use it with your family members, use it with your kids, use it with your siblings, use it with your parents, use it with your neighbors, use it with people at work, use it with your friends, use it with your colleagues, use it. It's going to elevate those interactions and those relationships. Caring and kindness is that first layer. And so before you are able to engage in caring and kindness for others, you have to make sure that you are caring and kind towards yourself so that your psychological and mental health is where it needs to be. And then you can genuinely and effectively engage in caring and kindness for others. And then that second tier is the positive reinforcement and helping obliterate those limiting beliefs or those debilitating beliefs, like mine was completely debilitating. And then that third level is the Turk, when you are able to pull something out of somebody and say, you know what, I see this in you, you can do this. So feel free to make comments in the post on YouTube afterwards. And if you have questions afterwards, I will answer your questions. I'll pay attention to the posts and the comments on this live stream. And thank you for joining me, Eugene and Margot. Woohoo! It's so good to see you guys. Woo! I will see you guys again soon. And rock and roll. You guys have a wonderful Saturday. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.